Isaiah, good to see you. Tell us about being out. It was a hot day on the field today. What was practice like for you?
Today practice was okay. We just working hard and getting the plays right, putting in some new installs and stuff like that. So just trying to get everything down pat and sharpening the iron.
And it seemed like with the first team, one section of the field you had Cade, Jamel Jones, and Tyree alternating at quarterback, one group after another. How is it to do that kind of drill?
That's all right. I mean, you got to get adjusted to every quarterback. You got to understand how the ball's going to come out for each quarterback, and just getting in sync with each quarterback.
A little loss of composure, a couple of players out on the field towards the end of practice in the heat. Is that just a moment, of August practice?
It's just football. It's just high competition. Things get rallied. So.
Sure. Tell us about your summer. What activities? Where'd you go this summer?
I just spent time home. My family moved. They got a new house, and just spent time with the family and getting ready for the season, relaxing. I spent time with some of the players here. They'll come down to New Jersey and hang out. So.
Oh, what part of New Jersey are you?
And now I'm in Little Egg Harbor, so it's by like Atlantic City.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. So in the Army offense, it's a lot of blocking as a wide receiver, but it seemed to me the key is getting you the ball because you got speed. How do you feel on your role in the Army offense? Is there a certain type of play that you light up when you hear it called in the huddle?
Just anything where I know I have a one-on-one matchup. That's what really gets me excited sometimes. But sometimes I just try to do my role and be a blocker too and contribute to the offense any means possible. So.
Very good. Thank you.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, hey, I was going to let you go, Joe.
Okay, I thought you had your hand up first, Tom. Go ahead.
Sorry. Hey, Isaiah, Tom Shanahan.
How you doing,
Hey,
sir?
you got an NFL size as a wide receiver. You don't see that a lot in our
Thank you.
And you had a tremendous season, especially in the second. What brought you to Army? Talk about coming to a school that's known for blocking wide receivers.
When I made my decision to come to Army, it was more so just a life decision rather than a football decision because I knew, and coming from high school, I knew football is it's not forever. But an education like this and the way West Point sets you up will last a lifetime, and that would ongo my football career. So that was my thought process coming into high school, and even with the football side of things, I took my official visit and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the place. I love the guys here. It was just like a brotherhood for me, and that's what did it for me.
Yeah, and a lot of guys don't have that mature attitude at 17 years old. Where does it come from?
My parents, and my head coach, and my offensive coordinator from high school. Dino Mangiero was my head coach. Lance Bennett was my offensive coordinator, and they were just telling us. I had a phenomenal high school team, a whole bunch of players to go play different places, and when I was making my decision to come to West Point, he was telling me that jobs are really hard to come by nowadays, and this place would set me up for life, and I still have a shot to go in the NFL from here.
Yeah, and talk about your season, particularly the Wake Forest and Air Force games late in the season, where you really came on not only big numbers but some pretty spectacular catches. Did something click for you, or did you feel it was coming, or just talk about your progress?
No, coaches just called my name and it was time to make a play, and that's what I've been preparing for my whole life. So I felt grateful that the coaches trusted me in big moments like that, and I'm grateful for me to be the person that they come to in times of need like that.
Yeah. And if you can put modesty aside, were you known for good hands in high school as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I made some pretty good catches in high school.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Isaiah. Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. First question, we know that after the last season, you had considered entering the transfer portal, actually had entered it. I talked with Coach Monken in the spring, and asked him why you decided to stay. Obviously, a lot of reasons go into that decision, right?
Yes,
but he said one of the things was that you wanted to be back with the brotherhood on a football team. So can you talk about how exciting it is to be back in
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be back on the field in general, especially with the guys that I spent this whole offseason working hard and training, weight room, conditioning, all that stuff. And I'm just grateful to be back, and I'm grateful for them and accepting me back on the team. And I had to prove to them my loyalty to them, and that's not going to change anymore. And I told them that this is where I'm going to graduate from. So I'm glad to be back.
Good stuff. So I've been watching Army football for close to 30 years now, and you're definitely one of the most talented receivers, if not the most talented receiver I've seen come through the program. In terms of, we already talked about your ability to win a one-on-one ball, which has been really impressive. I had the opportunity to interview Coach Davis last week, and he thought one of the things that you had really improved on in the last 2 years was your blocking ability on the perimeter, and how, despite your ability to go catch a ball with the best of them, in Army, if you can't block, you're not going to get a lot of reps, right? So talk about the pride you take in your blocking ability, what you're doing to continue to improve that aspect of your game.
It really started last year. We had Coach Gaither. Just the culture. First of all, besides any coach, the culture in the receiver room here at Army is we're going to be the most physical receivers in college football. That's point blank period. And for me, I had to embody that and show that I can block and do other things. Because without that, I can't be on the field to help the team make big plays in times of need. It'll be real skeptical if all of a sudden I don't play the whole game and then just boom, we throw Isaiah Alston in here for whatever reasons. So I had to step up myself to embody that role, and my teammates encouraged me to become a better blocker so I can be the number one guy, regardless if it's a run play or a pass play. So that's what really clicked for me, and just being physical on perimeter. Nowadays, a lot of DBs don't want to make contact and stuff like that. So as a receiver, you can go attack, and you're the offense, so you can go deliver the blow. You don't have to receive a hit from the DB. So
Absolutely, and along those lines, to kind of follow up on that, I also spoke with Coach Davis about some of the rule changes for blocking below the waist, outside the tackle box that are coming this year to college football. Has that impacted the way you block at all, or were most of your blocks above the waist anyway?
no, most of my blocks were on the perimeter or close to the box where I'm still hitting on upper body. So it doesn't really affect me much.
Okay, great. And then, the other thing I talked with Coach Davis about, he said he had talked with you specifically about one area that you could still show some improvement was your route running. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you've been working on in camp and in the off season to improve your route running?
Just being a more diverse route runner. Instead of running the same few routes, just working on releases off the line and getting the DB stacked, or depending on the route, you got to make everything look. You have to make every route look a little different. So I've been working on that. Coach Smith has been doing a phenomenal job with working with the receivers and releases and route running and stuff like that, and just catching the ball. So.
That's going to be it for Isaiah, guys. And Coach Monken's coming up next.